So a couple of questions coming up, Nish and Mamta, right? What is the plan for cross-border trade from banking services? How will it be helpful for supply chain service provider? That's a question from Parthiban Krishnan.
Yeah, Nish, do you want to talk about the supply chain finance that you were investigating today?
Yes, I was just trying to look up the documentation on it. Look, the short answer is there are some service domains that already facilitate elements of this. I will say that in terms of the depth and completeness of buy-in, it's very, very full featured and matured on the retail banking side. When you get into that corporate and institutional banking and you get into things like supply finance, there's enough defined there to get started. There is probably more that needs to be elaborated as a customer when you adopt it, which can mature it and then can actually be contributed back to the framework if you're a member. But we've actually recently begun looking into this for another client of ours, and so it is there is some capability. It has started to get looked at and started to get elaborated. There is probably some amount of work that needs to get done when you pick that up and want to implement something yourself.
I think that's the whole point, right? Because that's the only point that we at CC&C Solutions can help in the journey, because it's not always fully transparent and visible. So probably with our experience, we can bring that perspective on helping and supporting that overall journey. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Mamta.
I was just going to add, I think specifically in buy-in terms, some of the service domains that they have identified already, service domains are already there. What nuances which is missing is what are the behavior qualifier, which actually flushes out the functionality of the service domains more exhaustively. Though there are some that have been identified, but I'm sure there are more that they needs to be added. So definitely that's an area of interest. There is a potential to contribute back, and we'll be more than happy to work with you to talk about how it can be extended.
One more question.
Probably, I was just going to say one of the things with supply chain finance is a key element of it is the integration into that intermediary third-party fintech platform, right, where the transactions are being settled. So both the remitting bank and the buying bank, they have to connect into that third-party platform. And one thing that buy-in has made much easier is those industry standard sort of ways to connect, to do payments and to do securing exchange of customer information and things like that. So absolutely worth looking into using buy-in for that.
Yeah.
So I think we have about 4 minutes time, so we'll go into quickly on the agile methodology and then open up. There's a couple of questions that's coming up.
Yeah,
so
sure.
You want to kind of wrap that up on.
And look, I can be reasonably quick on this one. I'm conscious we are running short on time. The third pillar, which is around agile methodology, is really about, as we said, once you've kind of got your composable architecture, once you've got your product-centric mindset, the way in which you then operationalize the planning and delivery of these capabilities, right? These building blocks needs to be sort of embraced by the organization holistically, right? It's as much a cultural thing as it is anything else. And so what we see in terms of that ideal target state from an agile methodology perspective is being really clear on your value streams. So simple ones are I want to join the bank, or I want to borrow money, or I want to make a transaction. These can be mapped very clearly into your supporting business capabilities or service domains. Building a comprehensive business object model underneath it, alongside it, so that you can very quickly identify where is the data, what's the source of truth. These are all elements of starting to change the way you sort of go about identifying, what's the highest value item to deliver, what's the quickest way to deliver it. That sort of DNA has to get woven into your methodology from start to finish. So that is, that's probably the essence of it, given the amount of time we have.
Right.
Yep.
Thanks. So there's a question from Arshad Tanveer. How does regulatory pressures impact enterprise architecture and specifically buy-in implementation, especially for large multinational banks that operate across countries?
Yep. I'll start and Nish, you can add to it. And I think I should, I find, in my personal opinion, and I am sure a lot of will agree to it, the benefit of just the basic benefit of buy-in linked or overlaid, the buy-in landscape overlaid across the geography provides an incredible benefit to it. And this is coming from my personal experience. We were working in one of the banks which was across 14 different geographies. Each of those geographies would have their own stack altogether, and they were obviously regulatory requirement, but there was never a clear line of sight of which business functions are impacted by each of the regulator or geographical regulatory policies. As a result of that, every country had the whole ecosystem of all functionality rebuilt in most of the cases. So I think the initial benefit of just being able to rationalize and have a clear sight of what regulatory policies link back to which business function and hence what technologies are supporting that, that's a very good outcome for the bank. And then reusability, like how do we reusable these business functions, service domains for different geographies? And as you drill down, you realize that, and especially including the fact that banks are now becoming more of an IT shop. So they're building their own technology rather than procuring vendor products in a lot of cases. Then they are able to architect their capabilities, which could be reused across geographies as well. So definitely there is a merit and benefit of adopting buy-in across in a bigger organizations. In fact, most we were having these controversial discussions up until 2 years back. Buy-in's opinion was most of the bigger banks are the one who are going to adopt buy-in to reduce their complexity in the bigger banks. In fact, it's only recently that smaller banks have started adopting more aggressively buy-in in their own organization. So the benefit actually is definitely easy and much bigger when it has been adopted in a bigger organization, which are across different geographies.
Right. A final slide to just check. Anish, you want to kind of tell us
Yeah,
about
look,
what are the next steps? Where do people go if they are very keen to
absolutely.
go and engage with us?
For sure. Look, buy-in is really mature. It's getting adopted across the industry. However, it's sometimes hard to know where to start. And so, if whether you're an individual or organization, the same principles sort of apply. First educate yourself, understand what buy-in is. We can come in and do team skill uplift. So we have an extensive training program for buy-in for architects, business analysts, business architects, product owners. So the first step is really just get everyone's skill level up, and then get those business cases right for what buy-in use case do you want to adopt. So again, we can come in, meet with your senior leadership, understand your priorities, and then where buy-in can best help, and start to get that business buy-in, and then of course moving into some kind of a discovery phase to keep it agile. Bite off a piece. Let's do an MVP. So we can help through the entire cycle of that, and we work extensively with banks pretty much on every continent except Antarctica. So get in touch with us. We can absolutely get you started.
Awesome. If you just join and let's provide us the feedback, we really thank everyone for your time to be there. As Nish said, if you have any further questions, you can reach out to us at info@ccncsolutions.com. One of us will pick it up. As part of heading global sales and marketing for CC&C Solutions, we're extremely glad to kind of drive these programs for knowledge sharing to the community, because we think that there is so much we could contribute back to the community. We are going to be at the FinTech Festival. If you are in Singapore, we're going to be in FinTech Festival in November. Mamta is going to be there, and we are also going to be there as part of a buy-in conference, which is going to be in London, 19th and 20th of November. So just to give a heads up that we will be there everywhere buy-in is there. So hopefully, if you have an opportunity for us to meet you, share some experiences, or even connect with you to answer some of more questions, we'd be more than happy to do that. Thank you so much to the panelists. Thank you so much to the people who took time for being on a busy Thursday for an hour. Thanks so much, Nish and Mamta, for sharing your valuable insights. I'm sure that this would be of enough amount of value for the people. And if you need to know more, please do reach out to us. We will put the links and we'll be more than happy to have a follow-up call. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great rest of the day.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thanks, Suresh. Thanks, everyone.